Hi, guys. We want to welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Kickscast podcast. If you're like us right now, you're just taking it easy, kind of recapping everything that happened over the weekend, getting ready for the week. We've had a ton of drops. So, really, right now, we're just going to get right into it and do a little bit of recap of last week's drops. Starting with Supreme Week 1. Long awaited. This is something we went over last time. And Dave, to say the least, there was a lot of shenanigans going on. A lot of bots working, a lot of bots not working, and a lot of people low key mad over Supreme and their little switcheroo there.
Yeah, I guess typical week one shenanigans, like you were saying. Everybody's like, optimistic, but also cautious. A lot of people always tend to say like everything's gonna work Supreme week one. That was not the case. So yeah, like the two bots that took stock were Velox and Kodai. Yeah, absolutely destroyed. I saw people just like continuously checking out, just like crazy. But it was kind of weird at the same time in that like I feel like checkouts weren't even really going through until like 11-ish.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was like a really long lull right in the beginning, right?
Yep, there was like
where normally you see at least some bots checking out right away, but I think the site just completely crashed, man. Which I've never seen on a week one. That was more like a BOGO drop where the site's just completely dead, no pulse for a few minutes straight, right?
Yep, exactly. It was like 10 minutes where there was just no activity, basically. People were getting frustrated because they were getting like payment processing errors, and they were thinking like, I guess like I'm getting fraud or I'm getting declined, but it really was just the site not being able to process the payments. And then as soon as that was overcome, it was just like checkouts for days on those bots that were working. So
yeah, they definitely had a lot of stock. Supreme did have stock,
so much stock.
It didn't get spread out evenly this time. I gotta say, man, I know you had Kodai and you were running it. I was pretty shocked that Kodai was the bot. Not anything to do with the devs. I mean, obviously they're grade A, but if I were to pick a bot, bet my house on it, bet my life on it that was going to work week one, I would have said mech. After that, I would have said F3. Never would I have thought Kodai. Even Cyber, I would have said.
Really?
Kodai, man.
Kodai was absolutely cooking last season, though. Like every week it was very consistent. That's like the only reason I really chose to use it, because like I had other options, like including like you were saying Cyber, not mech, F3 as well. And the reason that I went with Kodai was just because like last season they were very consistent, like week in, week out, hitting clips. It is a little bit annoying because they don't have the auto solve, but I don't think you need it, so I didn't need it.
How's their capture solver? Pretty decent.
It was nice. If you have essentials too, like the essentials by Kodai, you can export your solvers into the bot, which is really, really nice because you just like it makes it into a file, you import it in, and then when you open it, you don't have to log in or put in proxies or anything. It just like automatically.
That's a pretty nice feature. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's really nice. But the big ticket item, I guess, or like the thing that really pissed a lot of people off was the fact that Mech apparently forgot to enable a certain mode or setting that basically prevented their users from cooking.
And again, I know I always go on the dev side for this, and hats off to Mike over there because he didn't have to say anything.
That's true.
I mean, at the end of the day, he really didn't have to say anything. He could have said,
but did he? I feel like he kind of had to say something.
No, he could have just said, "Hey guys,
when your bot
they had a couple of changes to the site, but I figured it out and it's going to work."
I don't know, man. When your bot is selling for double its price in the off season for basically no reason, like at the end of the Supreme season last season, a couple months ago, Mech was like at $900, and then last week, I don't know what it is now, but last week we were talking about how it's basically like $1,600, $1,800.
Yeah.
I feel like you owe it to people, and also like for your own interests, like within your bot and like the money that you're making selling it, that like you owe people some kind of explanation when it doesn't perform.
So I don't know, if it was just Mech that didn't perform and most other bots worked, then I would say okay. But I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one only because he could have just said, hey, there were site changes just like every other bot, and that's why it didn't work. But the fact that he even explained it, which, something we can get into a little bit more. He said, I locked it and changed a bunch of the code so that people couldn't crack the bot in the off season. Which that opens that second door of like, there's more than just the customer and the bot dev. There's that whole dark website of, people trying to crack bots, which I know you saw a lot of that sneaker Twitter going on this week.
Right.
Where some dude was trying to crack multiple bots. And, it's, dude, hats off to him. He's just trying to protect his property. And
right. I mean,
he came out and said it.
For sure. I definitely agree with the sense that, like, what you're saying, that, like, I respect the fact that he said something. But where I disagree with you respectfully is that I do think that he did, like, I don't think it's fair to say that he didn't need to say something. I think that he did need to say something, because again, not necessarily because of the, like, everything, like what you were saying. It's just the sense that, like, hey, you have basically a Supreme bot that is going for more than any other Supreme bot on the market. It's going more than some AIO bots on the market, and you flop due to basically an oversight. Like, that's a lot better. And that will, like, for instance, like, you as a mech owner or mech user, that, like, gives you comfort knowing that, like, oh, it's not like the code, it's not the bot. He just forgot to enable a setting. And that like brings you some comfort to not just be like, hey, no, like, there's actual issues here, like, with other bots that were just like, hey, like you were saying, there were site changes, we need to change stuff up. He was like, oh, we were ready, I just forgot to enable it. So
I don't know, man. Double-edged sword there too. That's not the first time. I think it was last season or the season before. He had the wrong proxy in.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he said it too, and he's like, guys, I had the wrong proxy, and that's why your stuff didn't work. I don't know, like, yeah, I guess thank you for being honest, but second, I'm just like, damn, you're telling me I would have hit all these clips? You know what, though? They kind of did me a favor, because pretty much everything I ran for other than the basketball bricked. And I really didn't see that capture tee bricking, not in black.
Oh my
Black
God.
capture tee, I was like, all right, easy,
yeah,
50 bucks a pop.
Unpopular opinion from me, like, Supreme is just bricks, basically, unless it's a BOGO, in my opinion. Like, it's just, I don't even know how this happens. But, like, you should expect, if you're buying, like, tees or summer tees or whatever, you should expect to hold it for like 6 months. It's just the way it has to be, basically, at this point. And with stock being what it was, this drop, if that's going to be consistent throughout the season, just be ready to hold. Because
you said it too. You called it last episode. We were laughing and giggling about the bricks and the bags of Supreme just sitting, collecting dust. But you called it, man. Props for that. You definitely called it spot on.
Yeah, it's how it is now, man. I don't know. It's just I actually really love going for Supreme. It's fun. It's a fun drop, but
it's a good rush, man, for sure.
It is, but, like, unless you have buyers lined up or something, like, if you're just going to dump on StockX, it's better that you just pass. Like, you'll probably lose money. And especially if you need that money, it's not really worth it. Also, like, if you're going to buy an $1,800 bot for that, you should reevaluate your life decisions. But now, moving on to the second point. So the next drop was the Jordan 3 Lazer Orange. Super, super low stock. And the big size is actually doing pretty well, which wasn't that surprising. I think it's a woman's shoe, so that's why the bigger sizes are doing well. But
correct.
But yeah, going into that drop, the performance for the bots that cooked or whatever is kind of irrelevant. Also, just because the stock was so low, I think we were talking like less than like 2,000 pairs on like foot sites. So
that's really tough too to, like you said, evaluate a bot when there's such low stock. It ends up being a crapshoot. You have thousands and thousands of tasks being ran by hundreds of thousands of people,
and
it's just dumb luck.
This we didn't plan about talking about this, but, like, I just reminded myself about this. There's a bot out there that's been cooking foot sites. That is not like one of those bots that you would expect. Easy Cop Bot. I don't know. Have you seen their success recently?
So, I left. Okay, so this is gonna start. But I left their server.
No,
I had them before. I've had them for a long time. I had them originally.
Okay.
Way back in the day when they were a Shopify bot. So I got the invite because I own the bot, and obviously the dev went AWOL. I guess someone else bought it out. I left the server one of those days where I was just cleaning out all my Discord servers, and I hadn't been in there in forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys are actually super nice. They DM me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I it's one of those things where how much of that is because it's a newer bot in the sense that people don't know about it and they're pushing all of their users to go vote versus the bot is actually killing it.
I mean,
because I'm going to assume you're telling me, sorry to cut you off, but I'm going to assume you're telling me it's done really good because you saw all the votes on
facts.
Botmart and stuff like that, right?
Well, no, honestly, no. I actually don't really pay attention to that. Just because, like, myself, and I'm sorry if this offends you. Well, not you, but, like, anybody who's listening. But, like, even when I cook, hit clips, I don't go to Botmart and vote. Like, I don't know. I think
exactly my point.
It's kind of cheesy.
My point.
So, like, I look at Twitter and I see retweets and I see people, like, in like, success channels and Discord groups that I'm in. And, like, when I see, like, people who are not necessarily, like, that don't have these amazing bots and don't have all this money to like, pour into bots, hitting, 10, 20 pairs with Easy Cop bot, I'm just like, oh, damn, like, that's pretty good. Like,
see, that's what I didn't see. I didn't see all the retweets and everything else, and that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I didn't see all the retweets and everything about people hitting with it. I only saw the votes.
Yeah, see, I saw.
So if you saw retweets,
yeah,
then I take that back. Then I'm gonna shut my mouth now.
And then I looked, and it's a bot. I believe, and I might be wrong, but it's a bot that's pretty much always in stock for $200. So you have basically the cheapest bot on the market, essentially. Because, like, come on, let's be real. Where are you gonna find a bot for $200 now?
No, not at all.
And
A and B.
It's like $400.
No. The A and B dev works with them.
With Easy Cop?
Yeah, they did. Easy Cop was cloud based. So this after the initial drop, then they restarted again. It was a cloud based bot, and then apparently at some point or another that failed. I had it. I ran it. I actually hit the Mars Yard 2.0s.
Oh wow.
Off of DSMNY with them. So shout out to them. When it was a cloud bot. Yeah. Then something happened. They got with A and B, and now it's a desktop bot.
I see.
So once again, A and B somewhere in there in the mix. My buddy still has it. He's still in the server for Easy Cop, so I'm gonna force him to run it. He's the one that always hits like 50 clips with A and B.
Bro,
so if anyone can do it,
yes,
he's like the master of the low level bots.
If you guys did not know, but my boy Atlas has a secret love affinity for A and B.
Even though I don't run it.
It's not that secret actually, but he loves it. This man will renew his copy every 6 months, even and not run it once.
I'll just give them my money. But you know what? Because I'm a loyal person, just in general. That's how I am. Obviously, you can tell.
Yeah.
And they earned it, man. And like that's and now Easy Cop, probably one of the few bots, like you said, that you can actually go out and buy it, that it's in stock.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's something to be said about that. And it'll actually cook.
It will.
An NSB, right? So
yep.
That's another thing. There's plenty of exit scams out there. Plenty of people dropping $1,000 on a bot that will never work. These guys bust their ass, and I was a newbie once, and when I was a newbie, that bot made me mad money. Probably all the money I made helped me buy all the other bots. So
facts. I know there's probably a lot of us out there that started off with those newbie bots, and I mean, I personally still like. I don't mean to slam Atlas. Like, I also like still renew my A and B license, even though I pretty much never even open it. I actually don't think it's even installed on my current computer, but I did renew it like a few months ago.
It's free right now, by the way. Did you know that?
Really?
It's been free since COVID.
So yeah, that's probably why.
That's another thing I give them credit for.
I renewed it on Black Friday, I think, because it was like half off. I think I paid like $30 or something.
Same.
So that's why I did it. And I guess it's been free since then, or since COVID. Yeah. But yeah, like it's definitely a bot that I hold close to my heart. But yeah, I just wanted to. That was just a little. I guess we went off on a little rabbit hole there, but I just wanted to point out that, like, hey, there are still bots out there that are cheap that are performing on these sites, But moving on from those onto bots that are not cheap, for Yeezy Supply, Israfil drop on Saturday. There was one and only one main bot that just absolutely destroyed. And we all know what that bot is because it jumped up from $1,000 to $2,000 in a week. What the hell are you kids doing? Why do you do this? It makes no sense.
$800.
Yes.
It was $800 and now it's what, 1,600, 1,500?
Come on, boys. Like, you don't need it that bad. I don't understand how you guys can just, like, if this, it makes no sense. But anyways, yeah. Splashforce absolutely destroyed with their, whatever they call it, the magic, the V3 magic. Yes. But, you know, other good bots that performed that day were obviously Project Destroyer, who's been pretty consistent on Yeezy Supply for a while now. Soleil.io, who also has been very consistent for a while. And then one bot that I actually personally ran and had decent success based on their users is actually Nebula, which we'll talk about in a little bit also. But yeah, they have advanced CAPTCHA, which a lot of bots have as well. So that's pretty huge.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then
Matt's a badass dev.
Yes.
Nice dude too. We should definitely get him on the podcast. We had him on the Essentials podcast.
Yeah, I would love that. He's awesome, man. In the Discord, he's always very engaged with his customers and with his users, and he's very, very nice, very helpful. So yeah, big fan of that
humble, very humble guy. Not to cut you off, but I'm sure you saw this too. He had a tweet where it was like his dashboard with like a checkout of a sock, like a piece of pizza and a cookie. And he said like, my dashboard looks like this, so my users' dashboards can look like this. And he retweeted some, you know, one of his heavy hitters, and the dude has like thousands of checkouts.
Yeah, I saw
something to be said about that, especially, you know, in a day where you hear about bot devs, and I don't know if this is true or not, so I'm definitely not going to name names or anything or even cough the name out, but you know, bot devs turning off their modules so they can run it and users can't, and having, you know, the newer version of their bot that works where no one else's works. You know, he's kind of the Dark Knight. He's the opposite to that, and kudos to that, man.
Yeah, and kudos to Nebula, man. Honestly, we've, you know, on our first episode, the lost episode, as I like to call it,
you guys will heal that forever. I'm mad. I'm big mad. One day, people, I promise you, I will get that episode out.
But yeah, on our first go around, we talked about it, and like at that time, Nebula was going for the, you know, don't buy it for resale because you can't. But if you were at that time, it was going for under $300.
Yeah.
And since then, which is like 3 weeks, it's now up to like $1,200. So kudos to them. They've been putting in the work, you can tell. And this is just another drop, Yeezy Supply on Saturday, that showed that like that hard work is paying off, and their users, their loyal users, have been able to reap the benefits of that. And that's awesome, because like if you just are one of those people, which I'm sure a lot of us are, that have a bunch of random bots that we don't run, and like you just kind of have it there, you know, that this is like a lesson. Maybe take a chance and run a bot that, you know, you believe in the developer and you see them making changes.
Yeah, but don't do what I did and leave the server.
Exactly. Cool. But moving on to like the problems on that job. Apparently, Wrath had some issues for the first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah. And
what happened? Yeah, you're a Wrath user.
So I got through. You know, got in there.
Advanced CAPTCHA, right?
Only way to run it. I don't even know why they have the other method. They should just remove it.
And you do not use auto solve, correct?
No, do not.
Yeah.
Do not. I have 2 solvers in there, and they just say use one. I have 2. I don't even know if that makes a difference, but I have 2 in there.
Well, advanced CAPTCHA.
I ran my. I got through right away.
Right.
Got all giddy. Submitting order.
And
nothing past submitting order.
What happened? Sat there. It just sat at submitting order?
It just sat, dude. It just sat.
Dang.
Webhooks kept coming in. I probably had like 10 webhooks. I only ran 4 to 7. Nothing. And then probably like 2 minutes after that, he said, don't even bother running until I push an update. I made a mistake. Owned up to it, pushed the update, and then people were checking out. But by then, 4 to 7 was gone.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was about to say that. The stock flew on that day. So on those sizes.
I think that has a lot to do with Splashforce and people running thousands of tasks. I don't know what your take on is, but that's what I think.
I believe exactly the same thing. I mean, so like to my understanding, essentially, I mean, I have Splashforce, you have Splashforce, but
yes,
you don't have to log into Gmail for it anymore, essentially. So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but you don't need to do it. So that means that you can just run it up as much as your computer can take, essentially, because and obviously your data plan and your proxies, because essentially you will just continue to take like these what are they called, captcha tokens from their backend or whatever, and just keep passing Splash. So there's people that are straight up using 3-4 copies of Splash Force, running 6,000 tasks. And yeah, that's why, also, as you guys probably know, on Yeezy Supply, you can use the same card multiple times. So it allows you to scale up your tasks like that.
Yeah. But this next drop is going to be interesting based on that.
It really is. And then another bot that actually had server issues too is Polaris. They came out and owned up to it as well, saying that they were having server issues and their bot was going offline and stuff until later on in the drop. And then once they fixed their issues, it was business as usual with them, which is basically just like instant checkouts. They have a bypass apparently. I don't know. I
was going to ask you, what do you think about their price? Polaris was at around 3,500. Now it's sitting around 2,800.
Yeah, I think like I was looking at yesterday, it's like at 3K.
What do you think? Do you think it's justified, especially now that Splash Force basically does the same thing? Obviously, with a lot more tasks, they can only run 50.
I kind of agree, because the thing is, Splash Force has so many users. So like you look at Splash Force Discord, and you're talking like 8,000 users, whereas Polaris is very, very private. They don't even restock basically. When they do their little like quote unquote like giveaways, they'll give you like a weekly rental. So they're not really. It's kind of like Wrath, where like the price is very high, and I think the main reason that it's so high, I mean, obviously it performed very well, but basically at this point, for the same price that you would buy like Polaris or Wrath, you can buy other AIO bots as well that would perform similarly, and probably even have other sites like Finish Line and JD to add into the mix. But the limitedness of their copies is what brings that value in, because the user base is just so low that on days when Splash Force doesn't cook, or like other bots don't cook on foot sites, you see Polaris and Wrath just go off. And so, I mean, we've all seen that one drop. I forgot what drop it was, but Polaris just absolutely took stock.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when it comes down to that, like I do see why there's an appeal there. I think also, they do have foot sites. I don't know how well they perform, but the fact that they have them shows you that maybe there is more value there. That's a module that will probably continue to be developed, and maybe that's why it justifies $1,000 price jump from Splash Force to Polaris. But
Makes sense.
pre this weekend though, that gap was huge. You were looking at Splash Force at $800 and Polaris at $35.
Yeah.
Now it's like 2,000 to 3,000. It's a lot closer.
It's gonna go. Splash Force is gonna go up before this weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be at least 2K, man.
I mean, let's be real though. Like, let's be real, dude. Like, I love Splash Force, but they have a Shopify module and they have a Supreme module. Have you ever run it? Like, ever?
No.
What do you run on Splash Force? Yeah, exactly. You run Splash Force on Yeezy Supply.
Yeezy Supply, and Dix. I tried Dix the other day, and like half-ass hit start, and
Dix, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You use it on Yeezy Supply. If there's an Adidas drop, you use it on Adidas, and use it on Dix. Like, so maybe if the developers were to put more time into the whatever and make all those modules better, you would see a higher price. But like realistically, Splash Force, even though it does support other sites, other modules, it's basically a demandware site. I mean, a demandware bot.
He has a huge update coming.
Oh yeah.
So depending on what's going to be there, then it could justify a price to $3,000. But
definitely, and I think
at 2K it's high. I'm just calling it like I see it. I think it's going to hit there. That doesn't mean I would pay that.
Facts.
But
and I mean, Ewan is a very talented dev. So like he's
been around a long time too.
Exactly. No, and I trust in that guy. That's a developer I believe in. But it's just we as a consumer, as somebody who's putting their money into this, you got to look at the facts and just call it as it is, like you were saying. Like it's a demandware bot at the moment.
Absolutely.
And that's why Polaris will have the edge in the price, because it does more than that. And now, okay,
Interesting.
so like let's move on to the last drop of the weekend, which was a drop that probably most of you passed on, the Jordan 12 Indigos. Um,
Bricks.
yes, basically, when it comes to these shoes, unless you have bulk buyers or a consignment shop or something, you probably should pass, or you live in a no tax state. But not a lot of like big news here. There was one big main thing that happened was that they basically Footsites added a queue essentially.
A real queue, right? Because there was a queue before, you just really didn't see it.
Yes. So now there's
Right.
like a real queue. If you're like manualing, you will see a queue.
Plays a
And
nice elevator music. You do too?
so that was a big deal. Like, let's be real, that's a big deal for Footsites to do that. A lot of
Did
bots.
you get scared? Because I'm not gonna lie, I got scared when I saw that page. I said, "Oh crap, nothing's gonna work right now." They just completely changed it. Stuff was working, but when I first saw it, I was like, "Great."
I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, I
Same.
have so much money in Footsite spots. What the hell is about to happen?
Same.
But there was a lot of bots that were able to immediately handle the change. Wrath being one of them, Cyber being one of them as well. And then, yeah, consistent hitters like Prism and Kodai were also able to have checkouts. But the big,
Prism's been doing pretty well, huh?
amazing.
You're a big Prism guy.
I mean, it's not that I'm a big Prism guy, but like since I've had it,
You're a medium Prism guy.
yeah, I've had it.
Medium, maybe.
I've had it for months when it didn't work. So like when I got it, it didn't work on pretty much anything. And so now that they updated it and it works, I'm running it because I bought it, and it's safe to say that I'm going to run it every drop because it performs very, very well. And it's a bot that I bought for retail, so of course I'm gonna run it. And then but the big deal was Ganesh, which was pretty much one of the only bots, especially the big bots, that was not able to handle those Footsite queue changes.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was running it, and a lot of my friends were running it, and basically we were just seeing it was freezing and just getting stuck, and we eventually all just stopped running it. So, news from the Ganesh camp is that they have tested and identified the issues. They've tested the solution, and it's apparently working, and they're going to push an update out soon. But that was very disappointing. And
I wonder if it'll be the same too, right? It's like,
yeah, I don't know.
I hope it does, obviously,
Facts.
because I know a lot of people have a lot of money in it. I know you're a huge fan. I know you waited a while to get it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
But that's one of those things where
it's bots.
How much does it mess with it?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the cycle of bots. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. Again, you basically just have to put your trust in those developers and see, if you think they're very talented, then they'll come out, which is something that I think Ganesh has, very talented developers. But
yeah, their devs are top notch. That's for sure.
But like, this is how dominant that they are. Like the one drop, so far that they're basically out of play. You see bots that haven't necessarily been killing it come up and just kill it. So like there was basically a massive empty space left by Ganesh that these other bots were able to fill because they are usually that dominant on Footsites. So
that's a very astute observation, man.
Yeah, that shows you like the quality of that bot. And if they continue to have these issues, if you have those other bots, you should run them. Which is something I did for the Kobe drop. I ran Cyber because Ganesh was still having issues, and I was able to hit 2 pairs. So that's something that you see basically as a direct result of Ganesh not having those queue changes. You see these other bots have like more of an opportunity.
Ganesh was sidelined. Hopefully they figure it out by the weekend, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Cyber soul holder or a Prism or a Wrath holder, I guess you're hoping that they take their time. But
yeah, very true.
But
very true.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's in their best interest. I would say that like since they dropped 3.0, it's been rocky at best.
That was that messed with a lot of people's data plans too, right?
The queue changes.
That queue, yeah.
Yeah,
we know a few people that were just burning data.
There's a lot of providers. I'm not going to name them, but there's a lot of providers that were just in their Discords basically saying, like, get used to it. Yeah, I know it sucks that you're burning through data, but there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I know it sucks you're burning through data, but I'm getting paid right now.
Exactly. Like they're not upset.
No, no. I mean, there's nothing they can do, and they're being honest. It has nothing to do with them.
Exactly.
That's going to be the cost of business, right?
And one thing that we've already seen is that there's certain bots that were able to, like Cyber on Monday, they pushed out an update saying that it's going to use up less data on queue. Same with Prism. And other bots, I don't know about Wrath or anything because I don't have them, but
I asked in Wrath in the suggestions, and Jason said that there's nothing you can do because it's built into the code or something. Hold on, I'll read you exactly what he said so I don't misquote him.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting he said that because the update from Cyber on Monday was literally like, you will use less data in queue, basically. I don't know how they're doing it, but those guys. One thing
He said you can't. It's embedded in the HTML.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not. Yeah, I don't know anything about developers or developing work, so I have no comments.
Hopefully, he can figure it out. Yeah. Maybe he says that now, and then later on, he's like, "Oh, but I can do this." Those guys are. Extremely talented. That's why they get paid what they get paid. So they'll figure it out.
Exactly. Without being like judgmental or anything, all I have to say is it may be in the HTML or whatever that he said, but why is it that these other developers are pushing out fixes for it? So clearly there are solutions. Maybe he just hasn't found it or hasn't been able to work on it. I don't know. There's a lot of bots that haven't pushed that update though, so we'll see what happens.
Ooh. Something we weren't going to talk about, but I think we should talk about really quickly. Kith and their New Balance drop.
Ah, yes.
Straight raffle. Oh.
Yeah, man. That was weird.
With the loan season 2.
I know.
They free charge on your...
They finessed a nice $7 million loan yesterday. Right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm personally one of those people that has been burned by Kith New Balances too many times. So I passed. But... yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like, what's going to happen if that's the case for Kith from now on? Well, that's one very, very big Shopify player out. So
and DSMNY too, and London.
Both
of them went to raffles. Yeah,
man. They've been doing raffles. I mean, they still drop things first come first serve, but yeah, those they have been dropping a lot of raffles too. I guess maybe Shoe Palace, whenever they switch, if they do, will help bring some relevance back into Shopify, I guess. But
it's been a few weeks and still no changes, so
yeah, as expected, man. We in the last episode we talked about that.
Yeah.
So
might have all been cap, right?
Yep. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. But yeah. All right. So that basically wraps up everything from this week. And this is not going to be our only podcast of the week. We do have something special for you coming up this week with a nice invited guest. So
we have a badass invited guest. We've known him for a bit. We're not going to tell you who it is. Obviously, you have to turn in next week, but
we'll probably
very, very well known.
Yes, very well known. Great guy, humble guy. And I think you guys are going to be really interested to see what he has to say about our topic. And but yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. We'll probably tweet some stuff out, giving some hints and letting you guys know who it's going to be the day of so that you guys can tune in. But yeah, that's just what's coming up for next time. And let's just wrap it up with Alice's favorite
segment.
Segment. There we go.
A segment, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you say it?
No, you say
it. All right, so we're gonna do a little rocket, stock it, fuck it, right?
There we go.
All
right, so I guess I'll ask you first because you asked me last time first. So your options are, and if you're unfamiliar with this game or this segment, it's what shoe would you rock? So what are you gonna put on? What shoe are you gonna stock? Which is, I guess, flip it, right?
Yes, sir.
And then what shoe are you just gonna say fuck it and not take it? And so our 3 options for this week are, it's loaded options, honestly.
Yeah, last week was like
there was some bricks,
Yeah, there were some bricks.
But this week, these are shoes that I would want to have all of them. So
there's still a brick in here though.
There's still a brick. There's a Bear Brick. Yes, so yeah, sir. The Bear Brick Dunk, that beauty, which you actually got as usual. the Kobe 5 times champ, which was the shoe that dropped on Monday, the purple one, and the upcoming Yeezy 700 Azareth. I think
Azareth.
Arzareth. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, there's an R in there.
There's an R in there, but
somewhere.
Yeah, that nice baby blue looking 700. So let's hear.
I'm gonna let you go first. I went first last time, right?
No, I went first last time.
You did?
Yeah.
Crap. All right. No surprise. I'm gonna rock the Bear Brick. Yes, I got it. Wore it the same day.
Nice.
I like the shoe. Some people are gonna tell you it's a bit simplistic. It's just some pony hair on a dunk.
I love it though. I love that it's just basically like a black dunk. It's so nice.
I love it.
It's so nice.
And I normally don't like wear them right away. Probably, just stick it on a shelf, maybe sell it, maybe keep it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, like, I got it. I was like, yep, right to feet.
Right to feet.
So, rock that one.
Mm-hmm.
Stock. Man, I guess I would stock the Kobe.
You dirty. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. Yeah, it makes sense.
But you know what? Okay, so I'm an OG. I'm a Jordan guy.
Mm-hmm.
Was never a Kobe guy. No disrespect to Kobe. So it's not, if it was like, heaven forbid, Jordan passed, I get it. I would. But this Kobe, and I only own one pair of Kobe's, and it's the Oreo ones.
Mm-hmm.
This Kobe looks nice. The 5 times champ with the purple. I'm not a Lakers fan either, but it looks nice, man. I saw that shoe. I was like, that's a nice shoe.
Yeah, they did it. They did it well, which is nice.
They did it well, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really pretty shoe. I mean, I don't know if you would call a shoe pretty, but those are my words for that shoe. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's a nice shoe. So I guess you're passing on the Yeezys.
I'd say fuck it on the Yeezy, and listen, I would take all 3 of these.
Facts.
I love that blue color on that Yeezy. I think finally they did something a little different. Yeah, it's the same new quote unquote 700, but that color's fire, man.
I like it too. Yeah,
that's a summer shoe. That color pops, and I wouldn't be surprised if it went for more than the black one. I'm gonna go out on a limb after a while. Depending. On the stock.
I mean, also just looking at I think I don't know stock numbers, but looking at those Yeezy Mafia emails where they do the pre-orders, I think pre-orders were at $150 a pair. So generally speaking, when you see, in my opinion, when you see like higher than like $40, stock is low.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
little inside tip there. Dave just gave you if you were listening. If not, just rewind.
but yeah, for me, I would probably, I don't know. I think I don't want to sound cliche, but I think I'd probably do the same thing that you just said too. I would wear the dunk. Probably. I like dunks, and I really like black. I like black a lot, and I appreciate the fact that it's just a simple black dunk, honestly. And it's a fuzzy dunk, which is cool too. But
I'm sure that you were gonna pick the Kobe's to rock. I'm at a loss.
Here's my deal. Like, Kobe's are nice, but like, I'm not like, I don't really wear like, I don't know. Like, I would rather wear like a comfortable shoe like the dunk,
Gotcha.
than like a more like athletic styled Kobe. Like if I played basketball or something, like I would, consider the Kobe more, but I don't. So it's not a shoe that really goes with like my style. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe
wouldn't go with your attire.
Exactly. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And then the Yeezy, I would probably, out of these options, I would pass on the Yeezy. Again, I would definitely 100% go for all of these shoes. But
100%. This is definitely the hardest one we've done.
Yeah. But yeah, and honestly, like what we were just talking about with stock being low, like I think these Yeezys are actually going to do well in the future. Hopefully. But yeah, that's how I would do it. If I had to change it up just to be like more original, I would flip the Yeezy and pass on the Kobe.
You want to be like me, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but like if we wanted some like difference, I would probably pass on the Kobe's out of just I guess respect. Not just because if there's people out there who are big fans and actually want the shoe, yeah, like it's not something that like you were saying, it's a beautiful shoe and everything, but like I myself, like I have me and my family and like my older brother, we were big Michael Jordan fans, and so yeah, that's I definitely I love like ones, so that's where I would go with that.
You know, and obviously we can save this discussion for another day, but you brought up a good point before recording. They really should have dropped more stock on those Kobe's.
Oh yeah, people who are out here saying like, fuck resellers, they should have, they this is dirty. Like, let's be real, if Nike didn't want these to be resold at astronomical prices, they would have dropped more than 5,000 pairs.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're gonna be mad at somebody, be mad at Nike. Like, we're a community, and like we all do this shit. Don't pretend that you're better than the rest of us just because you didn't hit, and now that you didn't hit, you're gonna cry and be like, oh no, I wasn't able to get a pair, and you guys are reselling them, and I've been a Kobe fan since I was 4 years old. Like, we understand, but like, you've probably hit shoes that other people really, really wanted. Like, if you hit Grateful Dunks, there's probably some diehard Grateful Dead fans out there that really, really wanted those shoes and have to pay up the ass for them. So we've all
Those Ben and Jerry's, man. Ben and Jerry's has a huge fan base. Those guys they wanted those dunks so they could eat their ice cream and sit on their couch, man. And you took their shoe.
But yeah, like we've all been there. We've all been there. So like, don't take that holier than thou approach. Accept it for what it is. Try to get a good deal. I'm sure you can convince some guy out there that you're the biggest Kobe fan of all time. But like, yeah, like if we're gonna be mad at somebody as a community, let's not take it out on each other, and let's be mad at Nike because they should have dropped more pairs. They had time too. This was a delayed drop from like January. Yeah,
they really do. They should have done better, man.
Yep.
And I'll bet you they'll get some backlash if they didn't already. I haven't even seen, but
yeah,
I'm sure people are just ripping them a new one.
Hopefully. But all right, before we go and make you guys spend another 10 minutes with us, let's wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. If I know we didn't mention this earlier, but it's your hosts, Atlas 305 and Dave Sally, and we look forward to seeing you guys later this week for our guest episode. Have a good one.
Peace.